Men, let's talk honestly for a second. Deal? A lot of us were taught how to pursue, but not how to communicate. So now we got grown men, interested but indirect, emotional but guarded, wanting connection but moving confusing. And then wonder why modern dating feels chaotic. Welcome back. I'm Law, author of Enunciate Your Needs, and we have a good one for you today. We're talking about something I think is ruining, I always love that word, ruining a lot of modern relationships before they even begin. Attraction without clarity. Now listen, attraction is normal. You see somebody, you think they're beautiful, they're intelligent, grounded, emotionally aware. Of course, something in you responds. That's human. The issue isn't attraction. The issue is unclear intention. And fellas, if we're being honest, a lot of confusion we experience with women, we helped create. Not all, and not every situation, but enough of them. Because men, we have mastered one skill. Acting interested without saying anything direct. We will send memes. We will react to stories. We will randomly disappear. We will come back with, my bad, bro, life been life. And I remember growing up, back in the club scene, I would have some fellas that would just stare women to death. And I'd be like, bro, just say something to her. And they'd be like, nah. And I'm like, what, are you going to stare her to death? Like, I don't get it. But stay with me. Fellas, she does not know what's happening in those moments. And to be fair, women do this too. Hinting, indirect communication, testing instead of asking. But today, I'm speaking to the fellas, to the men. Because leadership requires clarity. I think a lot of men confuse being smooth with being clear. Those are not the same thing. Anybody can flirt. Anybody can perform confidence. But can you communicate intention honestly? I've had to learn this myself. There were moments in my life where I genuinely liked someone, but communicated like I was trying not to. What's all that about, huh? And why? Because vulnerability feels risky. Let's keep it a buck, especially for men. Because if you've been following this season, we have been discussing the male conditioning. So this is just another layer that we can add to that list. A lot of men grew up learning, don't look weak, don't look too emotional, don't care too much, maintain your leverage, you're a man. So what happens? We become guarded communicators, interested but indirect, wanting connection but hiding behind our coolness. Some men communicate attraction like undercover agents, like no direct statements, no clarity, just coded behavior. Examples, liking old pictures. I mean old. She don't even look like that no more. Posting quotes, random check-ins, replying to stories from 11 weeks ago. Fellas, this is not emotional intelligence. This is espionage. And that's not a game you need to play. A deeper layer in all of this, the problem with unclear attraction is this. The other person, the recipient, starts responding to your inconsistency instead of to your truth. Now, signals get crossed. Now, assumptions begin to grow. Now, expectations form silently. And eventually, confusion enters the room. Most people don't wake up trying to create toxic dynamics. I want to truly believe that. But unclear communication creates emotional instability. You think you're being cautious, but the other person experiences uncertainty. You think you're protecting yourself, but the other person experiences inconsistency. And depending on what content you listen to, I hear from many women, personally and from the social media spaces, that one of the things they cannot stand is when men are inconsistent. Is this part of that reason? Is it not the inconsistency? Is it that we are moving not in our truth? Only you can answer that, but I think it's worth considering. And fellas, let me say this respectfully. Pino, if you know, you know. Sending a WYD, what are you doing text at midnight, is not clarity. That's availability checking, not communication. Leadership, clarity, midnight, what is it that you really want? Tell her. You may be surprised at her response. And this is why I keep talking about erotic intelligence, because attraction alone means absolutely nothing. You also need awareness, honesty, communication, discipline. The discipline part matters, because just because you feel chemistry does not mean that you move recklessly. Now, the older that I get, see the grays? The more I realize clarity is one of the most attractive things a person can have. Not game, not mystery, not emotional manipulation. Clarity, fellas. Knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, knowing how to communicate both honestly. That changes everything. This is important. Sometimes we say women are confusing, when really we never communicated clearly enough for stability to exist. That's accountability. Leadership. How did we set this off? How did we begin this future relationship? Were we clear? Some relationships fail before they even start because of this. Because both people are trying to play it so cool. Now everybody's detached. Now everybody's somewhere. Now everyone's performing. Nobody's being honest. And somehow both people are stressed out. Duh. Think about it. If you have to keep performing something that you're not, it's like those people that lie, right? If you always have to remember the lie that you told someone or someone's, eventually it's going to catch up to you. The way you communicate attraction often reflects the way you communicate everywhere else in life. If you avoid directness, if you fear honesty, if you struggle expressing your needs, that eventually shows up in business, in friendships, leadership, purpose. Because unclear communication creates chaos everywhere, not just dating. One thing I had to learn as a man was that clarity is not weakness. I'm going to say that again. Clarity is not weakness. Being honest about your interest, your intentions, your expectations does not reduce your masculinity. If anything, it strengthens it. Most confusion isn't created by attraction. It's created by avoidance. Avoidance of honesty. Avoidance of vulnerability. Avoidance of direct communication. Avoidance of emotional risk. Get it? So no, attraction isn't the problem. The inability to communicate clearly is. Because attraction may get somebody's attention, but clarity is what creates trust. And if you are building upon anything, do you not want to trust the foundation that you are building on? How can you trust something if it's not even there, if it doesn't exist? This is why clarity is so important, fellas. And I'm going to leave you with a question. What's harder for you? And this is to my fellas. What's harder for you? Being vulnerable or being misunderstood? I appreciate the time. I appreciate your listening. If you like the content, please subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. I got some guests coming on. Ooh, you gotta love them. Oh, you gotta love them. I appreciate this journey, and I appreciate sharing it with y'all. Till the next time.